I'm Janie Kanzler with the Jefferson County, Kentucky Master Gardeners, and I'm going to show you today how to plant some seeds indoors. You may ask, why would I want to plant seeds and not just go out and buy plants? Well, you save money when you start your seeds. And it's so much fun. It's very satisfying to know when you put your plants outside, you know what kind of soil you've used, what kind of fertilizer, and you know you haven't used chemicals to start them, so you know they're going to be nice and healthy. And also you get a better selection when you start your plants from seeds. If you want something unique and different, you sometimes can't find them at the big box stores or your nurseries. So go to a store and check out their seed racks, and you'll probably find something new and different to try this year. It's lots of fun. You need to plan. You need to know if your garden area is in the sun or the shade. If it's in the shade, don't waste your money on seeds that need sun. In the same way with the shade. Also, know how large your space is. If you have a 4x4 raised bed, you don't want to go out and buy 20 packs of seeds. I know it's really hard to resist because they're so pretty and they have so much information on them, but you'll be wasting your seeds, and most likely you'll never use all those. Most seeds run, you can get them from $1. I think the highest one I have here is $3.79. So there's a wide range of costs for seeds. Also, you want to keep a record. What I do, one year I did this. I put the seed packets and little notes in a picture for plastic sheet, and you can put that in a binder, or you can just take a notebook and write down what type of seed starting mix you use, what type of fertilizer, your seeds, what company they came from, when you planted them. All that information is great to have for your next season. If your plants didn't do well, don't try them again. Try something different. So all that information really comes in handy. Your seeds, you need different supplies. Of course, you need seeds. You can get them free from a friend or a seed exchange, or you can buy them new. Most seeds will last a few years, a couple years at least, but some will only last a year. And you need to check out their germination rate. And you do that by taking a damp paper towel, just take your paper towel, wet it, put 10 seeds on there, and fold your paper towel, and then put this in a baggie or a container, and for 7 to 10 days, and keep it damp, not water soggy, but damp. And then after those 7 to 10 days, open your paper towel, and you should have little seeds that are germinating. If you have 7, say, that have germinated out of those 10, you would have a 70% germination rate. And that's pretty good. If you have less than that, it would probably be best to just go ahead and throw those old seeds away and buy new and fresh. Also, you need a germination medium. You need a seed starter mix, not a potting soil. They're two different things. Your seed starter mixes usually don't have fertilizer. If they do, it's just very small amount. And I like to use organic. I've used this Espoma brand, but there's Jiffy brand, there's Pro Mix, there's Metro Mix, there's all kinds of mixes that you can find at your big box stores and your nurseries. So you just want a sterile seed starting mix. And some people make their own. They make it out of core or vermiculite, a little perlite, some peat, but it's easier just to go ahead and go and buy your commercially packaged seed starting mix. Also, you need containers. So here I bought these little cell packs. These are square and these are smaller even, and they're rectangular. And I set them down in this tray. These trays are really handy. This whole setup is really nice. You have to be careful when you buy these trays because some come with hose and some don't. If you're going to use it like this, you need it without hose, of course, because you're going to be watering and the water would run out if you had hose. So you can use a setup like that, or you can use an old Solo cup or a yogurt or applesauce container. What you need to make sure though is that you punch holes in the bottoms of these so that your soil can drain. Also, you need to make sure that these are sterile. You've got your sterile seed starting mix. You don't want to put bacteria and diseases into your soil with a dirty cup. So you need to sterilize that, and you can use a bleach, 10% bleach and 90% water solution, and let that sit for 5 minutes and then rinse it. Or you could, what I do, because I can't use bleach, I use Lysol, and I also use really hot water and let them sit in that. And so far I haven't had any trouble, but if you want to be sure, use the bleach solution. That's what is suggested. Also, seeds need 100% humidity. So after you get your soil in here and you've planted your seeds, you need to cover this with plastic. As you can see, I went ahead and put some of my seed starting mix in here already. And what you want to make sure you do is put your seed starting mix in a bowl or a container and put some water in there and make sure you dampen that soil. It's much easier to get it, to get your soil damp if you pre-wet it before you put it in your cells. It's really hard to get, once the cells or the soil is in there, it's really hard to wet that. So anyway, cover with plastic. You can just use a piece of plastic wrap, or you can buy they have the covers that go on these. They're like $3, so I decided, no, I'm not going to waste $3. So I'm just going to use a piece of saran wrap or cellophane and cover that. So that should work. Also, your seeds need a temperature of 70 to 80 degrees to germinate. Most houses don't go all the way up to 80 degrees. So you can get a heating pad like this one. I've had this one for several years. It's about a 10 by 20. It fits right under your tray if you're using one of these trays. And it runs about $25 to $30. But it keeps your seeds nice and warm. If you don't want to buy one of those, put your seed tray up on a refrigerator or down by a heating vent, someplace where it's nice and warm, and they will stay in that 70 to 80 degrees range. Because if you don't, they won't germinate. And you also need labels. I like these little short labels. You can write so much on there. You can use the back and the front. And I like them short like that because when I hang them on my shelves to where my lights are, they won't hit these. These are short enough and they won't hit my lights, because you want your lights, if you use fluorescents, you want them to be about 2 to 3 inches away from your little seedlings. Because if you don't, they'll get real spindly and you won't have healthy looking and strong plants. So you also, instead of buying these, you can just use a piece of masking tape and put all your information on there and make sure you know which way your seeds are running. So if I wanted to start one thing here, then I can put another name here and on so forth. And that works fine, and it's cheap. Most people have masking tape in their homes. You also need I like to spray mine when it's still in the seed form and just mist it a little on the top. Make sure I keep my seeds nice and damp. And you'll need a watering can or something that'll hold water once you start watering your little seedlings, because they'll grow and you'll need to put more water in there. Just don't get water on the leaves. I try to water from the bottom, but sometimes I don't. But I do avoid the leaves. And also, like I said, with your lights, you can just buy shop lights, fluorescents, and they come in 2 foot or 4 foot. For a 2 foot by 4 foot area, you would need about 4 40-watt fluorescents. And what I like to do for my fixture, I put one warm white and warm cool white fluorescent in that light. And so far I've had good luck with that. Now you can buy LEDs and the prices have come down. You can also buy special grow lights and they're usually a little pricey, but there's a lot that you can do with your lighting. If you don't want to have lights, and you can sit your plants in a south facing window as long as it's not cold. It doesn't have it's not cold there, and they will grow in that south facing window. The seedlings need about 18 hours of light. So that might be hard if you sit them in your window. But if you have your lights, your fluorescents or LEDs, of course the LEDs now save a lot of electricity, so a lot of people are switching to those. But you can get you a little gadget timer, and this holds 8 plugs. So I could put 8 lights on that and set that for 18 hours, and that way you don't have to waste time on turning your lights on and off. And you will need a shelving unit or a table or something. What I do is I have a large shelving unit, and I just hang my lights on chains from the above shelf. If you don't have one of those and you're just going to do a few, you can set them on a table and say you're going to use a 2-foot light. You could actually, my husband made a stand for me years and years ago for a 4-foot fluorescent, and he just made it out of PVC. This is the bottom of it. I don't know what's happened to the rest of it because I don't use it anymore. But you can make a stand out of PVC pipe real handy and cheap. And all you need is a little hacksaw to cut that, and you'll be in business. Or you can make it out of wood. And stores sell the stands also. So you could go any route you want. A fan is good because you want good air circulation for your plants. If you don't have that good air circulation, they might get spindly. The air will mimic your outside environment. When it gets outside and it's windy, that strengthens them really. So fans are good, and that helps keep any kind of mold or anything also from growing on top of your soil. So any kind of cheap little fan, you can pick those up real cheap, but have some air circulation on your plants. And when would you plant seeds? Good question. Like I said before, make sure you keep your packets, all that information. If it's a really good company, normally they have all that information on there. So here in Jefferson counties, part of us are in zone 6B and part are in 7A. So what that means is our first frost-free dates are anywhere from April the 20th through May the 1st. So you could set your transplants outside after you've grown them inside and they're fully matured pretty much. You can set them outside, but you know how our temperatures are. Our weather's crazy. Sometimes in May even we have snow. So I would keep a roll cover or a sheet, something handy just in case you need to cover those little guys up, because you don't want them to die after all your hard work. But anyway, say for instance on these zinnias, it says it's recommended to start 4 to 6 weeks indoors before your last frost date. So 4 to 6 weeks, let's just say April the 30th is our last frost date, and from then on we would be safe to put them outside. What you'll want to do is count back, so that would make it about the middle of March when you would want to start your seeds on these. But also this packet tells you how deep, like these are 1/4 inch. Usually the larger your seed, the deeper you'll want to plant it, but you need to look at that information. Some seeds don't want soil on top of them at all. Some of them need light to germinate and to grow. So just keep that in mind. Keep your packets. There are exceptions to that rule, of course. If you're raising cold crops like broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage, you need to start those like in January and then set them out till March. And then there are some flowers too that like to be planted, the seeds in the fall outside. Fertilize, I like to use a liquid fertilizer. You can dilute it, and when your seedlings start coming up, and but then when they're about 2 inches tall, you can give it a full strength about once a week. Your organic fertilizers really usually don't burn your plants, so, and you want water soluble. So we're getting near the end here. I have a very handy, if you're going to grow vegetables, this is a really important book to have. It's from the Jefferson County Extension, and their phone number is 569-2344. You can call them and ask for ID 128, and it's home vegetable gardening. Tells you everything you need to know about growing vegetables. And they're on Gardner View Avenue over by the main post office. So I hope this has helped you all and you all get excited and want to start seeds. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy planting.